Hey folks, welcome to another episode of Maslow's Finance, all about Alameda and FTX. According to Fortune, Alameda Research was controlled by a band of youngsters in the Bahamas. Many of the employees were Sam's former trading business colleagues, Jane Street, and others from MIT. Sam had a group of 10 housemates as his inner circle. They partied together and had romantic relationships with one another. Caroline, the inexperienced CEO, was among many who openly praised amphetamine drugs on Twitter. Caroline stated on her Tumblr that the only appropriate polyamorous relationship should be in the shape of a hierarchy, with everyone knowing where they sit within the ranking and nasty power battles amongst the upper levels. I have nothing to say. According to Forbes, one former FTX employee says, the group was kind of a little clique, just a bunch of trashy youngsters at the end of the day. So what did Alameda Research do? They were essentially a cryptocurrency hedge fund. They carried out transactions. Buyers and sellers were matched, and it would allegedly provide investors with a return. To entice folks in the door, Alameda guaranteed 15% annualized fixed-rate returns with no downside in an alleged 2019 advertising document. If you've seen my Luna episode, you'd realize that that's an absurdly excellent deal. The Wall Street Journal later stated that the firm will utilize client deposits as loans for trading. Later, Alameda Research would get $10 billion in FTX customer funding. Of course, Sam controlled FTX as well. Gambling and investing with client cash without their knowledge is a blatant breach of traditional finance.
This is not like the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ. They take people's money, they borrow against it, it's not much disclosure, and then they trade against their customers.
The FTX and Alameda offices are located in the Bahamas, just feet apart in a co-working property. To make matters worse, some of Caroline's comments in interviews were not encouraging. Sam explained that he founded FTX after noticing that most other cryptocurrency platforms primarily catered to unskilled retail investors. FTX, on the other hand, would provide more sophisticated financial products such as features and options, trading for crypto or tokenized stocks that mirror the value of real firms such as Tesla. People apparently liked the idea or trusted Sam because he raised $2 billion from a variety of hedge funds and investment banks, including BlackRock. How did he manage to do this? I'm not sure, but apparently smart people thought of him as a genius. According to a blog post by venture capital giant Sequoia Capital, Sam was playing League of Legends while on a teleconference to negotiate a $210 million investment. After viewing this, someone from the firm put, "I adore this entrepreneur," in a chat box during the conversation. And Sequoia paid Sam the $210 million after the call. They had no idea they would never see this money again. Current and former FTX and Alameda workers believe that the operations were riddled with conflicts of interest, nepotism, and the lack of monitoring. According to CoinDesk, Gary Nashard and Sam managed the coding of the exchanges matching engine and money. I'm not sure who would notice if they moved them about or inserted their own figures. Nashard's girlfriend Claire, who used to live with Sam, was hired and promptly elevated to director of HR. This meant she could, and frequently did, terminate anyone who disagreed with Sam. Other workers stated Sam was the ringleader. Sam preferred to make dangerous decisions rather than follow the advice of others. Sam ran everything, and we trusted and believed in him. But for the time being, crypto was booming, and Sam's business was thriving. In July 2021, it was claimed that FTX had a daily trading volume of $10 billion among its 1 million customers. By this point, FTX had a UC Berkeley Stadium named after them, as well as advertising deals with the Golden State Warriors and the Mercedes F1 team. They even had an NBA stadium named after them in Miami. FTX was active in every aspect of the cryptocurrency industry. As FTX gained in popularity, it became a household name. Stars such as Tom Brady, Stephen Curry, Naomi Osaka, and Larry David were featured in promotional materials. And according to NBC, these celebrities received equity in Sam's company in exchange. In fact, Tom Brady is said to have invested his $650 million wealth in FTX. It's important mentioning that FTX had no board of directors during this entire period, only Sam. Another employee and a lawyer from FTX even got engaged in geopolitics. As a World Economic Forum partner, they also established the infrastructure to provide funding to Ukraine. Essentially, Bitcoin donations are converted into fiat cash for deposit at the National Bank of Ukraine. Sam was knee-deep in politics at this point. He'd soon be worth $26 billion. He gave $5 million to Joe Biden alone in 2020 and $50 million to politicians before the 2022 midterm elections. But there's a twist in the tale. Ryan Salami was a lesser-known FTX player. He gave $23 million to Republican lawmakers in order to establish political clout for FTX. The aim wasn't to go left or right. The key concern was that this firm was purchasing political influence while no one was looking. The United States New York Fed and 12 banks, including Citigroup and Wells Fargo, stated on November 16, 2022 that they were testing digital US dollar crypto tokens. So after years of speculation, central bank digital currencies were aiming to be a part of the United States' upcoming financial system, and FTX wanted to be at the core of it. Someone was keeping a careful eye on Sam's enterprise as it developed. Changpeng Zhao, also known as CZ, was the CEO of Binance, FTX's main rival. A single tweet from this man would set off a chain reaction that would bring Sam's enterprise crashing down. But we'll get to that later. Everything would begin to change for Sam in the second half of 2022. As inflation began to soar, the Federal Reserve of the United States raised interest rates. Higher interest rates imply higher lending costs and a more cautious economy. As a result, risk assets, the most prominent of which were cryptocurrencies, plummeted. As crypto businesses began to fail, Sam became the guy to bail them out. He could then acquire the crypto on their books at record low prices, which wasn't dangerous because Alameda Research had plenty of cash to spare. Also, everyone assumed that behind the scenes, Sam and his buddies at Alameda were suffering significant losses as a result of failed trades and bailouts. To help Alameda, Sam covertly transferred at least $4 billion in FTX customer funds. He stated publicly that all of this money was being shifted around within the FTX organization. Heads up, we're rotating a few FTX wallets today, primarily non-circulating. We do this on a regular basis. We may have a few more coming, but it won't have any effect. People watching these wallets were skeptical, and they had reason to be. Sam was lying. This was not a typical deal. It was the largest token transfer of an exchange ever, and the receiving wallet was not one within FTX, but another wallet at Alameda. According to Reuters, Sam was hesitant to inform other FTX executives about the attempt to prop up Alameda because he was afraid it could leak. Meanwhile, Caroline inadvertently stated on a teleconference that FTX utilized client funds to assist Alameda in meeting its responsibilities. The 27-year-old CEO had acknowledged possible illegal behavior and now faces a significant prison term. So it's important to note that the cash delivered to Alameda was not in dollars, but in $4 billion worth of FTX's own tokens, FTT. And this is one of Sam's main problems with his crypto empire. Sam and his buddies created FTT, a fictitious token. Here's the issue. Suppose you had a great idea and were looking for investment. Sam could say, "Here's $5 million, but it's not money. It's an FTT." To be honest, he was spending money that didn't exist. It's fascinating to see that the majority of net equity in the Alameda business is actually FTX's own centrally controlled and printed out of thin air tokens, says Corey Clipston, CEO of the investment platform Swan Bitcoin. On November 2nd, Sam's worst fears were realized when behind-the-scenes information about Alameda finally leaked. A report by the news outlet CoinDesk detailed a very unhealthy balance sheet that allegedly showed that Sam and his buddies invented the currency. In essence, Sam produced a currency with Valley on it and then used it as collateral to fund his initiatives. It was quite sketchy. This was never an issue for Sam as long as the coin's value increased, but things were different today. The cryptocurrency market was falling, and as a result, many of Alameda's books were practically liquid. Questions about FTX's true financial soundness began to circulate. It was the ideal occasion for Sam's major adversary, CZ, to intervene. Let us hear your thoughts through the comment box below. If you found this video useful, please click the like button. And if you're new to our YouTube channel or haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to click the bell button to keep you posted on all of our new uploads. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again in the next video.